Opportunity cost. What is it and why is it important?
On the most basic level, an opportunity cost is the benefit you miss out on by making one choice over the other. Today, we're going to be breaking down opportunity cost not only when it comes to your money, but also your time.
We all have a finite amount of time. And unless you're Jeff Bezos, you have a finite amount of money too. So it's important to weigh both of those factors when you're considering opportunity cost.
Now, as a quick disclaimer, we recognize that all of us make dozens, maybe even hundreds of decisions each and every single day. Are we saying that each one of them should be scrutinized based on the opportunity cost? Not at all. What we do think is really important, though, is that people at least have a general understanding of how what we do with our money and time impacts future opportunities that we can have.
We're going to be sharing a few main examples of opportunity cost in action and helping you understand them better. But before we do, we want to remind you, if you like content like this, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment below to let the algorithm know that you would like to see more videos like this one.
So for our first example, let's discuss buying a new car. Now, we do recognize that people have different values when it comes to automotive, and if you budget for it and things of that nature and it aligns with your values, we are completely okay with that. But as of right now in the United States, the average car payment is about $550 per month. Over the course of a year, that's over $6,000. So when thinking of it from an opportunity cost perspective, one thing to consider is if the money wasn't going towards a new car each and every month, what could you do with over $6,000 per year? Well, for example, you could max out a Roth IRA, which is an investment that could build your wealth. Realistically, you'd probably even have more money left over after you've maxed out the Roth IRA, and you could use that towards a vacation or anything else you'd want to use that money for. So it's important to understand that by putting that money into that new car, that inherently means money that couldn't be used towards an investment or pursuing other opportunities.
And this is where considering values is so important. For us, spending that kind of money on a new car, it makes me cringe, right? Like I would so much rather put my money into something else. But I have friends that love their brand new car and it improves their quality of life. And every day they get into that car, they're comfortable and happy, and they're happy that they made that choice. So again, this is so personal and it really depends on what makes sense for you. Example number 2, do-it-yourself projects or hiring out the work. This is another highly debated topic that people have very different opinions on. There's no right or wrong answer, but when we're looking at this, hiring out the work, you are spending more money, so you're sacrificing your money, but you are saving time. You don't have to do it yourself. For DIY projects, you're spending more time doing a project, but you're saving money. Ideally, unless you mess up and have to hire a contractor to fix it, which is a whole other tangent we're not going to get into today. But when you're comparing these two things, it's important to find what fits best for you. If life is feeling a little crazy and chaotic, it may be easier to hire out the work. But if you enjoy the project and you feel like you can do it well, you may want to do it yourself.
That's where opportunity cost comes into play. So some ways to look at it is if you feel as though the time that you get back by hiring something out, you could better use it to either an activity that makes you more money or perhaps put it into an activity that gives you more excitement. That's a good way to measure opportunity cost. The third opportunity cost example we're going to discuss is saving versus investing. Now, we talk finance each and every day with people, and one of the most common questions we get is whether it makes more sense to save versus invest.
I think that saving feels really comfortable and safe, right? People don't view having money in a savings account as risky, and there's a big sense of security with having tons of money in savings. And while we're strong advocates for having an emergency fund and a nice nest egg, it can actually be really expensive to have an excess amount of money in your savings.
Let's say a person had $10,000 and they had to choose between putting it into a high yield savings account where maybe they get 0.5% return on their investment versus say the S&P 500, where long term they can expect maybe 9% return on their investment. That $10,000 in that high yield savings account after 10 years, it's probably going to be worth a little over $10,500, which seems like a good return on investment. But when you compare it to what that person who put it into the S&P 500 could expect to get, that number is closer to $23,000.
So that's a huge difference. And there's a major cost with that. You're more than doubling your money if you invest it into the S&P 500. So it's really important to consider the cost of your money here by taking a risk, a calculated risk, versus playing it safe.
Now, we're not saying each and every decision that you make in life should be overly scrutinized and analyzed in terms of opportunity cost. We do think it's at least important for you to be aware that the decisions we make today with our money or our time does have ripple effects and impact other decisions we can make.
And a huge piece of this is identifying the decisions you're making in relation to your values. For example, if you say that time with family is a huge value for you, but the decisions you're making is buying a lot of material items that are keeping you at a job you hate and away from the family that you want to spend time with, are you really living a life aligned with your values?
We would love to hear your thoughts and comments about opportunity cost. If you've experienced it in your own life or would like to learn more, please make sure to leave your questions in the comment section below.